What's up, guys? This is Ruben.
I'm Monty.
And Kyle here.
And we are going to do a little bit of a deep dive into Deep Rock Galactic. The game's new for PlayStation Plus subscribers this month. So we just wanted to give you a little bit of our opinions and kind of our takes on it to get anyone who is unfamiliar or new to the game kind of a little bit more of like a detailed opinion on it. That way you can see if it's something you like. We're not going to yuck your yum. All right, let's get into it.
So just to give you the general consensus of how we feel about it, Deep Rock Galactic is one of those rare games that requires zero skill and can still be a blast to play. With the focus, it's so simple, it's almost stupid. Get materials... What am I playing? Minecraft? Well, kind of. If Minecraft was played with space dwarves, with the mentality of 40k orcs, and creepers were 20-foot tall bugs whose sole purpose is to end your sole purpose. But somehow it's endearing in a silly way. Remember how I said the plot was almost stupid? Well, that's something rather important. That's because it's almost stupid. But the simple game mechanics, the simple and easy to understand class system, and the loads of customization options make this game something that's become more of like a Left 4 Dead, or an Among Us, or even a Mario Party. Something that's simple and nonsensical that doesn't require you to fully invest or get sweaty to enjoy. How much I actually missed that. Too many games are focused on win, 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 score, 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 that it gets to become toxic and honestly quite boring. So in our opinion, Deep Rock Galactic gets a solid 7.5 out of 10. But keep in mind, we're still playing and there's still more to do, so I'm sure with enough time, a full crew, and some gaming snacks, it would no question be an 8 out of 10.
Alright, so after the synopsis of the game, we wanted to go through a list of small talking points. Just some things that we thought were notable about the game, and some things that we thought that were worth talking about in the game. One, game polish, i.e. like mechanics / overall enjoyment. That's just something we want to talk about. It's something that everyone should know about the game. Second will be classes and character design, mainly what makes each class different, abilities and usefulness, and then cosmetics and creation options. Number 3 is going to be missions and gameplay, mainly talking about the hub world, the mission launcher, like the variety of missions, and then the purpose of those missions themselves, whether or not they were, in our opinion, fun or worthwhile. And then the 4th will be sound design, overall atmosphere, and then music composition, which is something that we definitely want to talk about with this game. Alright, to touch on the first point, which would be game polish, we just really wanted to go over some of like the mission design. We definitely feel that a lot of the missions are interesting enough and actually fun enough to be playing. There is a bit of variation with each mission, as well as it does help to keep things interesting when you are going through each mission. Because obviously things can get repetitive in games like this, but the missions at least keep it interesting enough to where you want to keep playing. One of the other things was definitely environment design with this game. It does a really good job of keeping things interesting by using procedural generation, and what it does is it just procedurally generates new maps each time you start a new mission, which is great. A lot of roguelikes do this, and games that kind of rely on repetition in the game to keep things interesting, but also to be a core mechanic of the game. So it's really nice that you can start a new mission, and each time it does feel a little bit different because the maps are always a little bit different. Nothing really feels the same. Things do feel a little bit fresh each time. Another thing about game design would be gunplay. Obviously, each weapon needs to feel good, and gunplay is a big deal, especially in a shooter. This is, at its base, a first-person shooter. So it's great that going into it, each class has unique and interesting weapons, each one of them feels good, and each one of them does a good job at doing what it's supposed to do. I think the only thing that we found with game design that was probably a bit of an issue was just verticality. Obviously, if you're playing specific classes, it's not a huge deal, but when it comes to the mining part of it, as you would be mining, a wall or like an outcrop to get up to an objective, we just found there was a bit of a clipping issue with, I guess you could say, the edges of what you would be mining. So you would have to mine like a much larger hole than you really wanted to really get up to the areas you needed. So really, that's the only issue we noticed as far as environment goes with game design. There wasn't a whole lot of bugs. There wasn't something that was kind of consistently crashing the game or anything like that. So honestly, we give that a pretty good score. Alright, so as far as second points go, we did want to talk about classes and character design. Now classes, obviously there are 4 main classes to the game. There is the Driller class, the Scout class, the Gunner class, and the Engineer class. Each one is a little bit different, and each one is semi-essential to the team. Great thing is that each one has some kind of core gadget that they use. Obviously, the driller class is that it has a special set of reinforced drills, which are good for digging, good for making tunnels. It's just more of a traversal item as far as getting to areas of the mission, because obviously you're walled off by things. The scout class has a grappling hook, which is great as far as like individuality goes, because that one class can get to so many places without anyone else needing to be there. So scout class is definitely that type of class that can run ahead, look for things, and then also get to objectives before everybody else if maybe they need to defend something and they need to go grab something else. It works out. It's really, really good with the scout. Gunner, as the name says, is literally the gunner class, just a heavy gunner, but its gadget is a little interesting. It's a zipline launcher, so it's more of a team-based gadget. It's like the scout, but it's meant for the entire team to be able to make that type of traversal option, as well as it's a lot slower. So just a heads up, if you are going to play the gunner, you're definitely more meant for a team defense, as well as just kind of, taking out enemies. But that zipline launcher does give you a bit of utility to help the rest of the team. And then, of course, there is the engineer class at the end. And the engineer class's utility is the platform gun. And the platform gun is quite literally a turret that you set up to, help with base defense and things like that. Obviously, with missions where that defense is key, this class comes in really, really strong. Now, the only thing I will mention with the engineer class is that you do have to manually reload the turret. So just if you're going to play engineer, do yourself a favor, keep an eye on your ammo. But otherwise, that's pretty much it as far as class goes. Each one does really add a nice cohesion to a team. Each one adds different things that really help the team play. Obviously, Ruben and I played 2-player for a while, so having 2 people was nice. We had different gadgets that helped us. But if there were 4 people, I think that would have made a huge deal. The other thing we really want to talk about was abilities and usefulness. I mean, obviously, I kind of just went over that. I think that's really all we need to be saying about that. Each one does add to the team in a different way, so usefulness is key to each person. Depends on how useful you want to be in what way. I think the only other thing would be cosmetics and creation options. I would say in this game, cosmetics are definitely a much bigger deal than creation options. Character creation is pretty bare bones. It's what you would expect from a game. Just gives you the baseline character, different hair models, different facial hair, stuff like that. Kind of a little bit of facial, I guess you could say, customization, but there's not a whole lot. Cosmetics is where this game really starts to show stuff off. There's different cosmetics you can buy in the store, different versions of the game that come with special cosmetics, and then also as you level up your character, your weapons, different things, as those bars progress, you actually unlock new cosmetics for each character and each weapon and item that they have. So it's really nice that you get a little bit of extra gain as you level up.
So the next thing that we're going to go over is missions and gameplay. I'm also going to incorporate sound design into this to make it one big kind of chunk. Missions and gameplay are really cool. I really enjoyed the way that the missions and the achievement system is set up. The way that you progress in the main story is you have to get through, I believe it's 10 starter missions, and they really get you comfortable with the different types of missions that there are. Sometimes it can feel repetitive, but you have things like egg hunt or egg retrieval, where you're climbing through this cave looking for eggs, and as you take them, it'll spawn all these smaller enemies that are going to come after you to try to protect it. You have another thing where you have to run these water lines because you're going to be taking fuel out of these oil wells, basically. And that one's really entertaining because it is a lot longer of a mission, and it shakes things up in a way where you really do have to conserve ammo, conserve all of your gadgets, because you're in it for the long haul. And I really enjoyed that. And as you get through those 10 main ones, you unlock secondary trees of everything, where as you complete these next set of missions, you unlock different weapons. You unlock the ability to access the trade system. There's all kinds of things that unlock as you play through these things. And as you get farther and farther along that tree, the missions get more and more difficult, and it really further incentivizes working with a team, working with your friends, having a proper build of that gunner, engineer, scout, and driller. Having that full team setup really helps in the end when these missions get a lot more difficult. So I found that overall the missions, the gameplay, and the hub world were really well put together, and it really keeps you coming back. Even though some of the missions can get repetitive, the increase in difficulty, the change in the minerals that are in each level, everything kept it very fresh. And I thought that that was something that kept me coming back to it, something I really enjoyed. And the last thing I wanted to cover was overall sound design. This is a pretty quick one because not a lot of people really pay attention to it, but I really enjoyed the sound design. From the clickiness of the weapons, the way that the explosions sounded when you throw a grenade, everything with actual gameplay sound design was very on point. Even footsteps, you can hear footsteps, and it sounds different depending on the like dirt or rock or ice that you're standing on. Everything sounded different, and I thought that was a really good like touch. Music in this game is amazing. It's a blend between kind of a cyberpunk-esque like synth wave kind of genre mixed with a little bit of this old kind of dwarfish fantasy like music. It is a really cool design, and the way that they mixed it together, it was really, really awesome. So I love just getting through the missions and listening. It kept me wanting to go, and I thought that was awesome. So overall, we thought the game was awesome. 7.5 out of 10, an 8 if you have a crew of people that are going to run with you. Really, really good game. Last points, some of our just base likes for you are going to be the gadgets. We thought all the classes having all these different gadgets were really, really cool, and it made you want to try the different classes out. The weapons are the same thing. They're just so different, and it makes everyone feel so unique. Same with the class designs. It all ties together. The environment was amazing. The music composition just sounds so good. And once again, the missions, the way that they set them up really keep you wanting to go back for more. Our only real dislikes were we had some connectivity issues where we were trying to get in a group together. I'm on PC and not all of us are, so getting connected into a group sometimes took 2 or 3 tries to get in. That was a little bit of a minor issue. The repetition of the missions, like I said, it's a double-edged sword. You might enjoy it, you might not. The minimap, I enjoyed it, but some people were not as receptive to it. It is a little hard to read, especially if you're on console with your controller. It's a lot harder to navigate. So that could be something to think about. The perk system tree is the only thing that really was my main gripe. I didn't really like the perk system tree. It is good because there are a lot of different perks, but I feel like it kind of holds you back only being able to have 2 or 3 perks active at the same time, where at the end of the game you want to feel like you're really, really like experienced as this mining dwarf. And I don't know, something about it just didn't make me feel like I was that end game character. But overall, great game.
Well, that's that. Honestly, it's a pretty fun game. From all of our experience, it's something that we're probably going to be playing for a while. Our recommendation is, if you want to get into it, go for it. The community is super helpful, very welcoming. We didn't notice any sort of toxicity or gatekeeping, which is, frankly, very rare nowadays. My recommendation is, download it, give it a shot. If you like it, fantastic. If you want to play it, shoot, join our Discord. We're playing it all the time. We would love to be able to Sherpa you through a couple things, or honestly, just get in there and kill some aliens and mine some more. But from all of us here at the Essential Nerds, really appreciate you being here and sticking through the video. Subscribe, like, do everything you gotta do. And that's really it. Rock and Stone!
Rock and Stone!